Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so today we're tackling something pretty wild. How to quantify the literal messiness of the real world. We usually think of math as this rigid, perfectly predictable thing, right? But the universe we actually live in? It's governed by complete uncertainty. So, how do we use hard, concrete numbers to make sense of things that only sometimes happen? Well, let's unpack that.
Here's our roadmap for the explainer. 1. Measuring the unpredictable. 2. The probability scale. 3. The magic formula. 4. Theoretical versus experimental. And finally, 5. The power of trials. Section 1. Measuring the unpredictable. Math versus reality.
So like I said, we expect math to be perfectly predictable. 1 plus 1 is always 2. But reality is inherently random. To measure this, just think about your own day for a second. If I asked you to rank scenarios from least to most likely, well, the odds of you eating lunch today are practically guaranteed. But going to Mars tomorrow? We instinctively know those odds are astronomically slim. And notice what just happened there. Without doing any actual calculations, your brain is already measuring chance. And we actually use probability all the time without even realizing it to navigate this daily unpredictability. Whether you're glancing at your phone's weather app to see if you need an umbrella, or checking sports stats to see if your team's going to win, or even when experts are putting together massive insurance policies, probability is literally the hidden engine helping us quantify how likely an event is to happen. Section 2. The probability scale. From impossible to certain. Okay, so how do we actually quantify this likelihood? Well, every single chance is anchored on a scale that's perfectly contained between 0 and 1. A probability of 0 means an event is mathematically impossible. Think like a fish naturally taking flight. No way. On the other end, a probability of 1 means absolute certainty, like the sun rising tomorrow morning. You literally cannot exist outside of these two extremes. Right dead in the middle of that scale is 0.5, or 50%. And this is our baseline for an even chance, which is perfectly illustrated by flipping a fair coin, heads or tails. Anything below that halfway mark is unlikely, and anything above it, likely. Section 3, the magic formula, calculating chance. To start calculating these chances ourselves, we just need to get the mechanics down. In probability, an experiment isn't, a chemistry set with bubbling beakers. It's just an action with different possible results, like rolling a die. An outcome is one specific result from that action, and an event is the specific group of outcomes we're actually trying to measure. Which brings us to our foundational equation. To find the probability of any event, you just build a super simple fraction. The numerator on top is your favorable outcomes. That's the specific event you actually want to happen. And then you divide that by the denominator on the bottom, which is every total possible outcome.
Let's actually see this in action. Imagine you've got a spinner divided into 16 equal sectors. 5 of them are blue and 11 are yellow. So what's the probability of spinning yellow? Easy. Take your favorable outcomes, the 11 yellow slices, and divide by the 16 total possibilities. 11 over 16 is roughly 69%. So that lands firmly in the likely territory on our scale.
Let's try one more real quick. Picture a bag mixed with 11 marbles. You've got 3 green, 7 yellow, and just 1 single white marble. The probability of blindly grabbing that white one, it's 1 favorable outcome over 11 total outcomes. That comes out to roughly 0.09 or a 9% chance. Highly, highly unlikely. Section 4, theoretical versus experimental. Math meets reality.
Now here is the absolute central conflict of our explainer today. What should happen in pure math doesn't always match reality. Theoretical probability is based purely on symmetry. Mathematically speaking, a standard 6-sided die has exactly a 16.7% chance of landing on a 3, right? But experimental probability is a whole different ballgame. It's what happens when you actually sit down, roll the die, and observe the totally messy, chaotic results.
When experts like casino analysts or researchers track this stuff, they look at 2 main things. First, the number of trials, which is just how many times the experiment happens. And second, the relative frequency, which is how often a specific outcome actually pops up. You just divide the observed frequency by the total trials, and boom, you've got your experimental probability. So here's the kicker. If you roll a dice 6 times in the real world, you are almost certainly not going to get exactly 1 1, 1 2, 1 3, and so on. You might get 3 2s and 0 5s. But wait, why does that happen if every side has an equal 16.7% theoretical chance? Well, because we're dealing with things that are inherently random. We cannot know exactly what's going to happen on any individual given roll. We can only know what will happen on average. Section 5. The power of trials, bending chaos to predictability.
Okay, so how do we bend that chaos back to predictability? Ask yourself this. If you roll a die just a few times, your results are going to be pretty skewed. But does doing 100 trials instead of 10 actually make your experimental probability more accurate? Does the sheer volume of trials actually matter?
The answer is a resounding yes. The absolute magic of probability is in the volume. It's a phenomenon formerly known as the law of large numbers. Doing just a few trials is going to give you wild, unpredictable variations. But if you conduct thousands of trials, that huge volume pulls the average right back to your perfectly symmetrical mathematical expectation. The more you experiment, the closer the chaos bends to perfect theory. It's kind of amazing when you think about it.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a provocative thought. Zoom out for a second. We live in a universe filled with chaotic, completely random events, from massive global weather patterns down to the simple toss of a coin. So why is it so immensely powerful for us human beings to assign strict numbers to that uncertainty? Think about how giving a shape and a concrete metric to the unknown fundamentally changes how we make decisions every single day. Keep questioning the numbers around you, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.